Hey guys, I'm Joe, it's Rebels Advocate, and I'm still alive. I've been putting this video off for a while. This ain't exactly the video I wanted to make. I actually made one a few weeks ago, and my counselor told me, to post it. She wanted me to post it, and told me to post it. Like she said, just go on, hit post whatever you gotta hit, do it, and I never did. And I'll try to get into the reasons for that. So I kind of wanted to do an update, but also I didn't really just want to get on here and talk about me and, bore you to death. So I kind of did have something to talk about, like I don't know what to make the title of this video, but something to do, can God deliver you from depression, anxiety, other, mental disorders? Is he the answer? Is he what you need? I kind of want to talk about that because I've had to face that very question. Okay, I'm cutting in here real quick just to let you guys know that I never, ever talk about this in this video. I don't get around to it. By the time I get done rambling, I realize that the video is way too long, and I decided to do it in a second video. And so I went ahead and I did that video afterwards, and it's not as long, and it's either posted now or I'm gonna be posting it in a few minutes, depending on when you're watching this. But so just letting you know ahead of time so you don't watch this whole video and then I'll be like, damn it, you lied to me. So that's it. I was going to give an update. I think probably the reason why I've put it off is I was hoping that when I'd done this video, when I did an update video, that it would be all good news. And I think that's what I was holding out for. Like, for some reason I thought I was just gonna kick this thing's butt, in a couple weeks and be good as new. And I guess I'm starting to learn that's not really, that's probably not going to happen. But not to say I've give up hope, like I'm still fighting. But I'm going to go back several weeks to kind of, there's 3 specific days I think that kind of give a story of my progression since the last video, and kind of the direction it's took. There were 3 specific days at work that were particularly hard, and looking back I cannot remember if these were 3 consecutive days or if there was a day or 2 in between or a weekend. I'm not sure, but these were the 3 days that kind of were, let's just say they were big moments in this struggle and fight I'm having. The first one I'm pretty sure was a Monday, which is always the hardest for whatever reason. And I went in and the anxiety, like my nerves are just shot. It was so bad, but I kept telling myself, just grit your teeth, bear it, get through it, because usually, 2 or 3 hours into a shift, I kind of, it'll calm down some and things will get better. On this particular day, it was actually, as far as work goes, it was a great day. I had a good partner that day. Nothing really went wrong, like every job we had, like, sometimes problems fly up and, whatever it may be, makes things more complicated, but like things went pretty smooth that day. But I made it through the first 2 hours. I made it through 4 hours, 6 hours, 9 hours. And I just kept waiting to beat it, like for it to at least subside some, and it was just, it just stayed on. Like my nerves were so shot. I was so jittery, to the point of being sick to my stomach. Like, it was just, it never got better. The only positive was I made it, because for so long I'd missed so much work, and that was just adding more stress on me, because the more work I missed, the further behind I get on bills and all of that, and the more it makes you feel like a failure as a man trying to support his family. And so there was this particular point in that night that it felt like I just gave up. It was like just exhaling air and just, it's like I gave into it. I got tired of fighting, and like if you ever watch any MMA, you see somebody they've been beat down, they're on the mat, their opponent's raining down punches, and and they got their hands up in front of their face, and they're just trying to fend off the punches, they're trying to block them, and then eventually they take one too many shots to the head, and their arms just drop to their side, and at that point you're just out and waiting for the ref to stop it, bring it to an end. And that's where I felt like I was at, and it was so disheartening, and it was so defeating. It felt like I let it beat me. It's like I've been fighting this thing, and I kept thinking, I'm just around the corner of, like, for some reason I thought that it would be easier to overcome it, and it just felt like, it beat me. There's just nothing I can do to stop it. So that was a horrible night. The next day, I tried to get myself together, tried to turn things around. Okay, enough of the negativity, put that behind you, let's go. And I try to make this quick, because I don't want to drag on just talking about this stuff, but I go on into work, and it hit me so hard, to a point there was no way I could stay. I knew it was too much. Like, I just needed to run. Like, I needed to run far away. It's really hard to explain. I honestly don't know how to explain it. It doesn't feel like you have a choice. It's kind of, if anyone has ever experienced extreme OCD, that's kind of the feeling it is, if you've ever experienced that. And when I say extreme OCD, I don't know a whole lot about it, but I've suffered from it since the time I was a kid. And I think there's probably, and again, I'm not a doctor, I'm just pulling this out of my butt, but just from my experience, I believe probably OCD is like on a spectrum of, there's things that's maybe OCD, but it's not really affecting your life that much, or what have you. And then there's, and I've got several of those, I feel like. And because you talk to anybody, about almost anybody's like, yeah, I'm really OCD about this or that, to give an example, like, one of my things is if I'm frying eggs, and my wife kind of laughs at me because I'll get the carton of eggs out and say I want 4 eggs, and my wife's like, I want 3 eggs. And so that's an uneven number. So I can either add one or take one away, make it an even number, or most of the time I can still do the odd number, but I can't just pull the egg. Like, I got the carton here, I can't just pull the eggs from here, here. I'll pull one here, one here, one here, and it's not the same every time. But I'll have to make some sort of design. Even if it's an odd number, if I make like a little design, like something that just, it's hard to explain, but it makes sense in my head. If I do that, then I feel okay. If I don't, like, it bothers me. It really bothers me. But if you were to come in and say, okay, Joe, you cannot do that. You pull each egg from the side of the carton in order. Just pull them out, crack them, put the carton back, and don't think about it. You know, if somebody kind of demanded me to do that, or, you know, bet me I couldn't do it, or, you know, threatened me with something if I didn't do it that way, then it would bug me. But I could do it. I could do it. And then by the time I got done fixing breakfast, eating breakfast, and going about my day, I'd probably forget about that carton of eggs. And I'd go on with my life. That's kind of the, you know, like a minor OCD, I would say, maybe. And maybe I'm wrong. On the other end of it, I've had things, and especially when I was a kid, I had little tics and things that I had to do, and I had to do those no matter what. Even if it was embarrassing, it was something you didn't want to do, like in public, even if you knew people were looking at you, you could not stop from doing it. And the difference between that and the other one I talked about is, if you came in and demanded me not to do it, it wouldn't stop me. If you held a gun to my head and said, Joe, if you do that one more time, I'm going to pull this trigger. And even if I knew you were telling the truth, I would try with everything in me not to do that. But, like, my whole body would, I don't know the right words. I don't think it's like it's burning up, but it feels like your body is going to explode from inside. Like, it's the most overwhelming. Like, you cannot, you can't control it. And you're going to do it. And I'll do it again, you know, or else. Like, I can't not do it. And it wouldn't matter what you threaten me with. And that's more of the extreme side. And so, and I say that, you know, I'm getting sidetracked, but I guess my point was, if anybody's ever dealt with that and knows that feeling of where, you know, you just feel like your insides is about to explode, that's kind of the feeling I get when I just have to run away from certain situations. And that's how it was getting at work. And so on that particular day, I left before I even clocked in, and I convinced them to give me a vacation day, because I was so stressed out, because I knew I was losing pay, you know, and Christmas was coming up, and all that, and I was so stressed because, you know, I wanted to be able to buy my little girl something. You know, my wife and I had done, you know, we weren't buying each other anything, but I just wanted to be able to buy my little girl something, and I wanted to be able to buy my 3 nephews something, you know, so I'm stressed over that. And so on the way, anyway, before I left, like, you know, it took some convincing to get a vacation day, and I was there for a few minutes, and the whole time I'm about to lose it. And I finally, you know, I hold myself together till I get to the car, and then I just broke. I broke pretty hard, and it was rough. You know, it took me a while before I could even pull out. Like, you know, it's and the bad thing is you're literally sitting there. You don't know why. Like, you know, that's the upsetting part. It's like, if I knew what was wrong, if I knew what was causing it, then I could fix that thing, and then I could, you know, I could go about my business. But I don't even know what's going on. So I finally get myself together, and I start driving home, And on the way home, I decided to do a video because I hadn't done a video in a while, and just do an update. And I stuck the camera up there and I just started talking. Absolutely no plan, you know, of what to say. And I was just talking about what I was dealing with, what I was going through. And the longer I talked, the better I kind of started to feel. And the more positive I tried to talk, because I think instead of just convincing myself, I'm trying to convince everybody else too that I'm going to be okay. I'm going to beat this. And I think that made a difference. You know, the fact that when I'm talking to the camera, I realize, I'm talking to other people as well. And so I started getting positive, and I started laying down goals. Okay, here's what I want to do, and I want you guys to hold me accountable. And then I had this plan of, if other people are kind of going through a similar thing, put it in the comments and say, hey, I'm going to set some goals too. And on your next video, we'll come back and we'll say, hey, either, hey, I've stuck to these goals. This is what I've accomplished. This is how much better I'm feeling now because I'm doing this that I've laid out to do to try to get my life back where it needs to be. And then we'll kind of go, do it together. And even people, if you're not going through anything like this, but you just want to, there's things you can do to improve. And, everybody, like now it's the new year and everybody's got a New Year's resolutions, everybody's always wanting to improve something. And it would just be a little thing where we could kind of hold each other accountable and support each other, And I thought it would help because it would make me, it would give me someone else to kind of hold me accountable besides just myself, and maybe force me into doing things even when I didn't want to do them, but it would ultimately make me feel better. So I made that video, and by the time I was done with that video, I was feeling pretty good. And later when I told my counselor about it, she really wanted me to post. She's like, great, did you post it? And I said, like, well, not yet. I was like, I still gotta go through, edit it, whatever. She's like, post it. She's like, I don't care, whatever it is you got to do when you go home, hit that button, post it, because she felt like it was a good idea, the whole, kind of having a small, I guess a support group or whatever, and just having that accountability. Anything like that would help. But as you already know, that video never got, it never got posted. So I go back to work the next day, and now it's it's do or die time now. There's no going home at this point because I've missed and missed so much in the past. The day before, I took the vacation day. That wasn't easy to, because you're not supposed to just go in and ask for vacation days. Those are supposed to be scheduled ahead. So I know I can't ask for another vacation day. So it's like, and I can't afford to go home without pay. I can't do it. So I told myself, like, Joe, and I felt pretty good because, like I said, I made the video. I was feeling fairly positive. It's like, I'm going to do this now. Like, this is not going to beat me. I had this renewed strength. And so here we go. And I walk in, and man, it hit me again. It hit me hard. I just gripped my teeth. I was like, you don't have a choice today. There is no choice. You're working. You can like it, lump it, whatever. You're going to get through this night. Like, nothing. And I kept reminding myself, there's nothing here to hurt you. There's nothing there's when I get those feelings of just like fear and anxiety and just overwhelmed nerves, it's like, you keep reminding yourself, what are you afraid of? There's not there's literally nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing to be this tore up over. And I'm trying to use some of the techniques that I've been given in therapy. They're not really working. And so I had a job to do that was something I've done 1,000 times. It's something I'm real comfortable doing. And so that was good. It's like, okay, I just pour myself into this and just concentrate on what I'm doing, and I'll be fine. And none of that was working. I'm trying to just focus, like if I'm drilling something, I'm looking straight at that drill bit, and I'm putting every bit of my focus into that, trying to ignore everything going on up here. And at one point I'm up, in the lift, and I'm just sitting up there, and there's people below, and I at one point I just crouch in the lift and kind of try to hide from anybody that could possibly see me. And I'm just, I'm about to break down. I'm on the verge of another panic attack, and at this point I think I've been there like an hour and a half or something. And it got so bad I had to go down, and I went in the bathroom. And again, I apologize for making this so long, but I go in the bathroom, which is just a small, like basically enough room for a toilet and block wall, and I just melt down, man. Like, I lost it, and like it was horrible. Probably one of the worst panic attacks I've had, and like it just takes everything from you. It takes it just drains everything from you. And I knew, like, again, there's no going home. You can't go home. But so I got myself together, and it's like I put my hand on the doorknob to go back out, and it hit me, it just, here comes wave 2. And I'm just slumped down to the floor, and just, crying, snotting, my shaking like a leaf. It was so severe. There were moments I literally thought I was going to die. Like, felt like I was just going to have a heart attack, or I don't know, stroke out. And a part of me almost wanted to, And so I tried with everything in me to get it together, but there's no getting it together. And eventually I just had to walk out and just I had to leave. I had to tell them I was going home. And man, that was a rough day. So I got myself together again in the car, and I drove home. And it was probably the most defeated I'd been up to that point. And I get home, and I call my therapist, and I'm like, I had another session in a couple of days, and I was like, I need to move it up, because I was spiraling. I'll just be honest, pretty bad. And so we met the next day, and because of things just getting so severe and getting so bad, they ended up taking me out of work, pulling me out of work temporarily. And then this was something they tried to do when I first saw the doctor and therapist. They tried to do at the very beginning, and I basically told them, that's out of the question. I can't do that. Just can't afford it, And that was when I think I thought I could beat this thing. But I was at this point where it don't really matter. Like, I'm not showing, if I can't stay at work, then it doesn't matter. I have to beat this to be able to do it. And it's so it's not just on top of all the problems you're dealing with. Now you're looking at, I guess a lot of it is just this social stigma of feeling like such a failure, because you can't, I'm kind of the one that has to step up and needs to, provide for my family, for my wife, for my daughter, and it's so this wasn't a step that I was wanting. I thought I would beat this pretty soon, and by now, I'd be maybe not better, but have it under control. So I reached a point where, like I said, it really wasn't a choice anymore, so I gave in. Okay, this is what we'll do. And they put me out to February sometime, and then they have to reassess and see if I can go back or I'm out longer. And at the time I thought, well, if I get better I can go back sooner. So I was like, Christmas is coming up, and I might not be able to afford to get anybody anything, which I did. We had a good Christmas, and most of that was thanks to some really nice people helping us out. So all that is okay. But, at the time I thought, okay, even if I can't, at least, I'll be home with my family, and I'm going to just focus on getting better, get through these holidays, the new year, focus on my therapy, and my doctor visits, and I'm going to get this under control. And I really felt confident that now it seemed like work was triggering me, it seemed like the worst of it was happening there, which I was having panic attacks at home as well, but it seemed like, maybe if I step away from that and I just have time to focus on me, things will get a lot better. And the bad news is that really hasn't happened yet. Things are, and like I've said before, and I'll say it again, I'm dealing with all this, and a lot of times when you think of depression and anxiety and all these things, you kind of think of somebody who just lays in bed all day, mopes around, never smiles, is never happy. And that can be the case for a lot of people, but it's not the case for everyone, and it's not the case for me. I still have some good times. The day before Christmas Eve, my wife went out with my mom. They had to go to the doctor, and then my mom took her, out, and my mom was Christmas shopping and whatnot, and they were having a day, so I kept Peyton. I stayed home, and I kept my daughter, and we had a daddy-daughter day where me and her got out. It was warm. It was pretty warm that day, and I took her to the park, put her on a swing for the first time. She wasn't a huge fan of that, but she liked it more when she got to sit on my lap. She couldn't really hold on to the swing for too long without flopping backwards, so I'd have to hold her. And then I got her on the slides, and she absolutely, I didn't know how the slide would go, if it was scary or whatever, but man, she absolutely loved it. And then I just took her, I take her to stores, Walmart and a couple different stores. Literally her favorite thing is just getting pushed around a buggy. She loves riding around that buggy. And I took her to eat, and it was such an amazing day. It's probably the best day I've had in like all of last year. Maybe it was an amazing, just I escaped my anxiety more that day than probably any other day, and that's the thing that's bad, is it's so hard to get away from it, because it feels like if I was in a good situation, like the other day, we went out, we had to go pick up a few groceries. Really, it was a beautiful day. You know, I had Peyton in the buggy again, and I'm pushing her around, you know, acting a fool, you know, just to make her laugh. And it was a good day. And come home, visited with my mom for a while, and all that, and still, like, just still the whole day, I was just so nervous and so anxious. Like, we come out of the store and got in the car, and I literally had to just sit there for, you know, 5 minutes just to breathe and calm myself down to be able to, you know, drive. So, man, I've been going for like 30 minutes. So, I apologize. This is not, this wasn't the plan, to talk this long, but, I guess it just helps me to air it out. So, if anybody watched through all that, I appreciate it. You know what? We were going to talk about the whole, can God deliver you from anxiety and depression? I was going to talk about that. I promised you that. But since I've already went 30 minutes, I'm going to end this video, and what I'll do is I promise you I'm going to sit right out here, and I'll go ahead and talk about that for a minute, and I'll just put it in a separate video, so that way anybody who doesn't want to watch this, they won't have to. And I'll try to post both videos back to back if I can. They may be a few minutes apart, because it takes a while to post it, and I got a lot going on. But I know that sounds crazy. I told my wife, like, out of work, and I was like, and I feel like I haven't slowed down. Like, it's been crazy, which but I hate to, like, this wasn't the video I wanted to make. Like I said, like, I wanted to make a video just telling you guys, hey man, look, I'm kicking ass. Here's what I'm doing to get things back on track, and I'm feeling so much better. That's the video I wanted to make, and it just, you know, it's just not happened yet. But I just I want you to know I ain't giving up. There's been a lot of dark days, and it's been rough. I'm gonna get off here, and I'll make the other video, I promise. I'm sorry I drug on so long just moping around, but so maybe we can kind of be our own little support group. Like I said, we can go ahead and do that, and I'm gonna try, guys. I can't make no promises. I can't promise you that my next video I won't be, you know, even worse, but I'm gonna try my best to take steps to do things better. I did one the other day. Well, technically, I had to make my wife do it because I couldn't bring myself to do it. But my nerves get so bad, and I get so nervous even in, like, I had the weirdest things set me off. Like, a good friend of mine, like, sent me a text message, and just asking, hey, just checking on you, see how you doing. And I was chilling out with family. Everything was good, and so I was like, okay, I just need to message them back. And I sit there, and I'd have to, you know, I'd get like halfway through the message and have to throw it down because I'd be shaking so bad. No idea why. Like, it's not like that person makes me nervous. It's not like I can't type a message. It just tears my nerves up for some reason. and I don't understand that. I can get on Facebook, I can make a Facebook post and send that out, but yet talking like a friend texts me and I can't hardly reply without falling to pieces. Like little things like that is so weird and so frustrating because you don't understand. But anyway, like with my nerves so bad, sometimes like when I feel them, I try to escape it in a way. And like I had a long time, I used to play all kinds of games on the phone, and I got rid of all of them. I just quit playing games on my phone. Uh, every now and then I might see something and install it and play it a few times and delete it. But I really just didn't play games on my phone. But some time ago, probably when a lot of this started, I put Candy Crush back on my phone. And I would sit and play that for hours because it was so mindless and I didn't have to think about it. And so when my nerves were bothering me, I could sit there and play that, and it would, actually make me feel better somewhat just because it took my attention away, which I guess in a way is a good thing. The bad thing is I would spend hours doing that, and I would spend hours when I could be doing something productive, even if it was something as simple as just writing, because my therapist has just been on to me since the beginning to write. Just sit down and write something, anything, and writing is one of the things since I was a kid I've enjoyed about more than anything, and it's something fun for me. Like it's something I'm actually passionate about and enjoy doing, and even that I can't bring myself to do. Yet I would sit there and just waste hours, playing this mindless game. And my therapist was basically like, yeah, you need to get rid of that game. And what needs to do, but I did. So, and it's been about as hard as quitting smoking. I'm not gonna lie to you. I quit smoking a few years back. It's been rough. When you get addicted to something, sometimes it can be the simplest and silliest things. Like it's a stupid game. Candy Crush is a stupid game. It really is. I'm almost embarrassed that I was addicted to playing it. But anyway, I gotta get off here. Apparently, I also have trouble ending videos. But I'm gonna go. I love you guys, and I'll see you in a few minutes because I'm just gonna keep talking and make a different video. And hopefully after this, I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not making promises, but I may go a while and not address this anymore, and just try to make some more videos about religion or whatever, and maybe even more lighthearted, funnier videos or something. Just something to kind of escape this. Talking about this all the time. That's not what this channel's for. But I do have one video I'm wanting to make in the future. This just come to my mind, so I just put that out there. And I don't know when I'll make that video, but I'm wanting to make a video about, I don't even know. I'll go. I want to make a video about suicide, and I don't think that I don't think that I really have anything to say that could prevent someone who's thinking about suicide, prevent them from committing suicide. If I can, that would be great. That would be a definite added bonus. But I think more than anything, the main reason I want to make this video is I know there's a lot of people who've lost people to suicide, and they don't understand why. Because some people even call suicide selfish or whatever, or you'll hear people talk about someone who commits suicide and they don't understand it because that person seems so happy. They seem like they were making plans and all that, and it seems so unexpected. And I'm gonna be honest, I never really fully understood suicide But going through what I've gone through, I've seen suicide in a whole new light and in a whole new way. So and I think it could help people who've lost people and they don't understand, to maybe help them understand why, a person that they loved would end their life and, leave them behind, and maybe bring them some comfort. I know it doesn't help much, but at least help them understand why. I think a lot of people just want to know why, and maybe something I have to say will help those people. So if you see a video in the future that has suicide in the title or whatever, don't think it's because I'm having, something bad's wrong, or I'm, talking about it myself. I feel like once I kind of had this, when I had these experiences where things got dark, like got rough, I saw it in a very different way than I had ever saw it before, and it made me understand it better. And it made me, to be honest with you, fearful of it, because I'll be honest, I saw it as less of a choice than what I had always believed it to be. But anyway, that's all about that now. We'll talk about that soon. I love you guys. I'm getting off here for good this time. So until next time.